Hi everyone. So CU Sem 3, let me write it here. CU Sem 3 exam अभी just हो रहे हैं and उसकी microeconomics paper was on 27th March, जिसका आज हम analysis लेके आए हैं आपके लिए. Okay, so we are going to talk about the paper analysis for the exam which was on 27th March. ठीक है, and मैं आपको कुछ के solutions बताऊंगी and कुछ ये भी बताऊंगी कि कौन से year से कितने past year questions आए हैं, कितने सारे questions repeat हुए हैं. Okay, so let's get into it. So the first question, one part A, is it wrong to explain huge yearly income of several dollars which the rock musicians sometimes earn in terms of economic rent? This is a repeated question from 2022. Okay. One part B, what do you mean by implicit cost? बस इसका definition आपको देना है, right? Starting में आपने देखा होगा cost में, when we go into it, we read about implicit cost, explicit cost, sunk cost, opportunity cost, right? And उसके बाद हम fixed cost, variable cost के बारे में बात करते हैं. तो वो जो definition था implicit cost का, वो बस देना था. तो definition plus example, okay? One part C, state whether the following statements are true or false and correct the false statements. If the long run total cost curve is linear, okay, so usually long run total cost curve would look something like this, right? ये TVC होता है, so this is TFC, this is TVC, and this is TC. Okay. Now they're saying that if the long run total cost curve is linear, then one part C, state whether the following statements are true or false and correct the false statements. Part 1, if the long run total cost curve is linear, the corresponding average and marginal costs will decline continuously. Okay. So long run total cost curve में हमने क्या पढ़ा था कि usually it is going to look something like this. तो ये आपका TFC ऐसे होगा, आपका TVC ऐसे होगा, and आपका TC curve ऐसे होगा, right? यहाँ पे बोल रहे हैं कि linear है, मतलब कि TC is going to be something like A plus BQ. Okay. So यहाँ से AC curve हमें क्या मिलेगा? It'll be TC by Q, right? So it's going to be A by Q plus B. Okay, and MC is going to be just B. So see, MC curve is not going to decline continuously. वो तो constant रहेगा. Okay, लेकिन AC curve, as Q increases, the average cost will fall. Right? So the corresponding average cost will decline continuously. The marginal cost will remain constant. Okay, so this is false. And for part 2, if the utility function of an individual is given by U is equal to root over W, where W denotes wealth, then the individual is risk averse. Yes, this is a concave utility function, right? So that implies a risk averse individual. Okay, so this is true. And मैं आपको ये भी बता दूं कि ये भी repeated questions है, ये 2024 में आया था, ये भी 2024 में आया था. Okay, now one part B, what is the marginal product of labor for L is equal to 8 for the production function? This is case fixed at 27. Okay, this is also a repeated question, ये 2022 में आया था, and ये बहुत ही easy question है. आप बस k का value इसमें डाल दो and just calculate MPL, which is dq by dl. Okay, so आपको बस इसका differential, इसका first order derivative निकालना है. That's it. Okay, then one part E, what do you mean to say that a person is risk averse? ये question भी repeated है, ये आया था 2023 में, and again it's a very easy question, right? Risk averse is a person who would not like taking risk, and अगर एक gamble है और एक sure certain amount है, and दोनों का value same है, so the risk averse person will always take the sure amount, right? Now one part F, if the equation of the total product curve is this, 6 plus 2L, where L denotes the amount of labor input, what is the MPL for L is equal to 3? So TP is 6 plus 2L, इसका MPL is going to be 2. Even if labor is equal to 3, MPL will remain 2 for each and every level of labor, right? So this is the answer. One part G, suppose a perfectly competitive firm has a production function. This if price is 72, wage is 6. How many laborers will the firm employ to maximize profit? Okay, so let me erase a couple of things. So since this is a perfectly competitive firm, तो हम क्या करेंगे इसमें? We have to do MRPL is equal to W. Okay, MRPL is what? P into MPL is equal to W, and this is the profit maximizing condition for laborers, right? तो आपके पास P है, आप MPL calculate करो, आपके पास wage है, just equate it and you'll get the answer. Okay. Now going to part H, how is a computer company's demand for computer programmers or derived demand? So आपको पहले derived demand का definition लिखना है. उसका definition ये है कि अगर एक output, एक तो final good, उसका अगर output increase अगर होता है, तो automatically उसके जो inputs है, उनके भी KL, इनका भी demand increase होता है, right? So that is derived demand. So just relate that concept to the question which is given. One part I, a firm is charged a tax that is proportional to the number of units produced. How does this tax affect the firm's fixed cost and marginal cost? So since it is proportional, मतलब कि जो tax होगा, it's going to be like this. Okay, and tax is a cost to a firm, right? So जो firm का पहले suppose A plus BQ था, now the new cost becomes A plus BQ plus TQ. Okay, so the fixed cost will be unchanged. Okay, fixed cost में कोई change नहीं आएगा, but उसका जो marginal cost होगा, the marginal cost will become B plus T. Okay, so that will change. One part J, why does a price ceiling usually result in a deadweight loss? इसका solution will be something like this कि आपको demand supply के diagram के curves बनाने हैं. Price ceiling मतलब नीचे होगा, and this is the traded quantity, right? तो आपको यहाँ से आपको मिल जाएगा कि आपका consumer surplus producer surplus क्या है, but you will see that this triangle is your deadweight loss, right? And this deadweight loss is that part of welfare जो पहले before the price ceiling it was still part of the total surplus, but now it is outside of the total surplus. Okay, so this is the deadweight loss. Part K, एंड ये जो पार्ट जे था, दिस इज ऑल्सो रिपीटेड क्वेश्चन एंड ये आया था 2024 में. पार्ट के फर्म्स प्रोडक्शन फंक्शन इज दिस. व्हाट टाइप ऑफ रिटर्न टू स्केल कंडीशन डज द फर्म फेस. तो इसमें आपको क्या करना है कि आप बस एक लैम्डा और एनी कांस्टेंट, ओके, आप बस मल्टीप्लाई करो, ओके, द इनपुट्स यू जस्ट मल्टीप्लाई दैट. तो द न्यू क्यू प्राइम वुड बी से लैम्डा k to the power 0.25 लैम्डा l to the power 0.25, ओके. एंड आपको बस देखना है कि अगर मैंने इनपुट्स को लैम्डा से अगर अगर एक्सपैंड किया है तो मेरा आउटपुट कितना बढ़ रहा है. इज इट इंक्रीजिंग प्रोपोर्शनेटली. तो यहाँ पे हम देखेंगे दैट दिस विल बी लैम्डा 0.25 plus 0.25 and it will be k to the power 0.25. Let me erase the unnecessary stuff and you'll be left with this. And आपको क्या आ रहा है लैम्डा to the power 0.5 q, ओके. ये इसकी जगह पे मैं q यहाँ पे सब्स्टिट्यूट कर दी, ओके. तो यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है कि यू आर इंक्रीजिंग योर इनपुट्स बाय लैम्डा, लेकिन आपका आउटपुट इज इंक्रीजिंग बाय लैम्डा टू द पावर 0.5, ओके. तो कम इंक्रीज हो रहा है, राइट. सो दिस मीन्स दैट इट इज डिक्रीजिंग रिटर्न्स टू स्केल. पार्ट एल, डिफाइन इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ सब्स्टिट्यूशन. ये बस सिंपल डेफिनेशन है जो आपको पता होना चाहिए, ओके. Moving on. Now one part M, define point of inflection. So point of inflection will be अब आप आओ TP में, okay, TPL में आप आओ. तो हमने law of variable proportions में हमने देखा था कि it will be something like this, right? तो यहाँ पे this is the point of inflection and point of inflection का मतलब क्या है कि यहाँ पे the curvature changes, okay? तो यहाँ पे पहले convex था और ये वाले साइड पे अब concave है, okay? So this would imply कि MPL आपका peak पे आ गया है. Right? So that entire phase one वाला चीज in the law of variable proportions, you have to talk about that. Okay, so define the point of inflection. Curvature change हो रहा है, that is the keyword here. Okay. What is sunk cost? This is also a repeated question. 2024 में आया था. And sunk cost तो पता है आपको कि इसका मतलब है कि it is that cost जो जिसे आप retrieve नहीं कर सकते हो. Okay, this is gone. Okay, and कोई भी आप future economic decision अगर आपको decide करना है, आपको लेना है, तो उसमें आप ये sunk cost को नहीं consider करोगे. You should not consider sunk cost in your future economic decisions, right? Now, one part O, determine the relationship between quasi rent and total fixed cost. Just simple definition इसमें डालना है, okay? तो ये हुआ question number 1. Now, part 2. So, उसका part A, Vivek always gets twice as much utility from an extra piece of pizza as he gets from an extra piece of burger, regardless of how many pieces of either item he has, okay? So basically, mu of P is equal to, so he gets twice as much utility from an extra piece of pizza as he gets from this, right? So it's going to be 2 MUB, right? And यहाँ से मुझे MUP by MUB is going to give me 2, okay? And ये इसका मतलब क्या है? Constant MRS. Constant MRS होता है perfect substitutes में. So the utility function should be something like this, 2P plus B, okay? तो utility function ऐसा होगा. तो यहाँ पे in perfect substitutes we always have to consider 3 cases, right? जिसमें we have to we have to compare this MRS with PP by PB. Okay, and accordingly हमें पता चलेगा कि only x will be consumed or y will be consumed or any point on the budget line will be consumed, right? So for each of these cases, suppose अगर x is being consumed, तो ICC will be this line, okay? अगर if y is only being consumed, तो आपका ICC will be your vertical line, right? And अगर if both these ratios they're equal, मतलब कि any point on the budget line is possible, right? So then your ICC can be anything, मतलब it is indeterminate, okay? फिर आपका angle curve for pizza, would be कि suppose अगर आपका m is equal to PP plus PB B, ओके. सो सिर्फ अगर पिज्जा बाई कर रहा है विवेक, सो आपका पिज्जा कितना आएगा? बी m by PP, ओके. सो इट विल बी, सिंस दिस इज अ होमोथेटिक प्रेफरेंस, उसका एंगल कर्व इज गोइंग टू बी समथिंग लाइक दिस, ओके. इट विल पास थ्रू द ओरिजिन, ओके. सो दैट वाज one part A. One part B, the demand for labor of an industry is given by this, the labor supply is this, where W is the wage rate. What is the equilibrium wage rate and the quantity of labor hired? तो इसमें you just have to equate these, right? Labor demand should be equal to labor supply. यहाँ से आपको wage मिल जाएगा, आपको labor मिल जाएगा, okay. What is the economic rent earned by workers? So economic rent के बारे में अगर हम बात करते हैं, so it is always going to be labor supply के ऊपर वाला part, right? So suppose ये आपका curves ऐसे है, okay, and this is equilibrium. So this is going to be your economic rent, okay. Now what would be the nature of economic rent when the labor supply becomes perfectly elastic? Okay, so जब ऐसा कुछ होता है तो हम कैसे calculate करते हैं economic rent? We just take this entire this box, okay, so A B C O, ये box में से हम this डॉटेड रीजन हम अगर सब्ट्रैक्ट करते हैं तो देन वी गेट द इकोनॉमिक रेंट, ओके. इकोनॉमिक रेंट का बेसिकली मतलब है रेवेन्यू माइनस द ट्रांसफर अर्निंग्स. सो दिस थिंग इज द ट्रांसफर अर्निंग्स एंड द एंटायर बॉक्स इज द रेवेन्यू, राइट. एंड बेसिकली सप्लाई कर्व के नीचे का जो पार्ट होता है दैट इज द ट्रांसफर अर्निंग्स. तो इलास्टिक लेबर सप्लाई जब होगा, ओके, कंपेयर टू दिस केस, अगर इलास्टिक लेबर सप्लाई होगा, वी हैव अ नॉर्मल डिमांड कर्व एंड दिस इज गोइंग टू बी द इक्विलिब्रियम वेज एंड दिस इज द इक्विलिब्रियम ऑफ लेवल ऑफ लेबर, राइट. सो अब सप्लाई कर्व के नीचे वाला पार्ट जैसे मैंने बताया था, इट वाज ट्रांसफर अर्निंग्स. सो दिस एंटायर बॉक्स बिकम्स द ट्रांसफर अर्निंग्स, राइट. सो इकोनॉमिक रेंट इज इक्वल टू रेवेन्यू माइनस ट्रांसफर अर्निंग्स, राइट. बट यहाँ पे ट्रांसफर अर्निंग्स का वैल्यू इज आल्सो इक्वल टू द रेवेन्यू, राइट. सो दिस बिकम जीरो. सो ये केस में इकोनॉमिक रेंट विल बी जीरो एंड ये क्वेश्चन 2020 में भी आया हुआ है. पार्ट सी, Biju has collected the following data about ABC Corporation in its locality: MPL, MPK, PL, PK. Is this corporation running efficiently? Justify answer. So so the equilibrium efficiency कब होगा? जब MPL by MPK is equal to PL by PK, right? So let's see, MPL by MPK का value क्या है? 20/30. इसका value क्या है? 45/90. Okay. So this is going to be 5, 10, 2. So this is going to give me, so this is 2/3 and this is half. Okay. तो दोनों में से this is नॉट, मतलब इक्वालिटी तो नहीं है यहाँ पे. MPL by MPK इज ग्रेटर, राइट? तो इसका मतलब कि नहीं, द कॉर्पोरेशन इज नॉट रनिंग एफिशिएंटली, बिकॉज फॉर एफिशिएंसी इक्वालिटी होना चाहिए. दैट इज द प्रॉफिट मैक्सिमाइजिंग कंडीशन, राइट? सो हाउ वुड बीडू इंप्रूव द एफिशिएंसी ऑफ द कॉर्पोरेशन इफ ही इज पुट इन चार्ज? तो अब अगर नाउ मुझे पता चल गया है कि MPL by MPK is greater than PL by PK. Okay, मैं थोड़ा सा अगर इसको शफल करूँ, I will get MPL by PL is greater than MPK by PK. Okay, मतलब लेबर का जो पर यूनिट में, जो पर रुपी मैं उसके ऊपर स्पेंड कर रही हूँ, ठीक है, वो जो एक्स्ट्रा आउटपुट मुझे दे रहा है फॉर दैट एक्स्ट्रा रुपी, वो ये ज्यादा है फॉर लेबर दैट कंपेयर टू अ कैपिटल. ओके, सो दिस मींस दैट आई विल इंक्रीज द लेबर्स. ओके, मुझे लेबर ज्यादा इंक्रीज करना पड़ेगा, तो दिस इंटायर टर्म विल स्टार्ट फॉलिंग टिल इट इज इक्वल टू MPK by PK. ओके, तो आंसर इज कि बीजू शुड इंक्रीज हिज लेबर. ओके, then going to part D. Indu lives in a world of two periods, to 10 tomorrow. She earns 1800 at the beginning of each period. If the interest rate is 0.5 in each period, what is the present value of her lifetime income? Draw her intertemporal budget constraint. So this is a very, very straightforward question. Two periods, 1800, 1800, C1, C2 is 0.5. So we always try to form it according to C2. So C2 will be 1800 minus C1, 1 plus R, which is 0.5 plus 1800. Okay, तो यहाँ से आपका intertemporal budget constraint भी आ जाएगा, and for present value also, you just have to shuffle this to get the present value, right? तो ये आपका हो गया. And coming to part E now, if the government taxes land, wealthy landowners will pass the tax on to the poorer renters. Do you agree? Justify answer. What will be the fate of consumer surplus, producer surplus, and government revenue in this case? Okay. So if the government taxes the landowners, okay, so basically a tax on land, okay, and land is an inelastic factor in supply, right? तो अगर एक tax land पे आता है, तो it is fully borne by the landowners in the long run. Okay, तो ये rent पे, ये renters पे नहीं आता है, ये landowners पे आएगा. Okay, so first part is that we disagree. Okay, that landowners, they cannot pass the tax to renters in the long run because land supply is perfectly inelastic. Okay, it will look something like this. The supply is like this. Supply. ओके, तो टैक्स पूरा का पूरा लैंड ओनर्स ही बेयर करेंगे. ठीक है. पार्ट 2, फेट ऑफ कंज्यूमर सरप्लस एंड प्रोड्यूसर सरप्लस. तो क्या होगा कि डिमांड फॉर लैंड विल बी डाउनवर्ड स्लोपिंग एंड सप्लाई तो वर्टिकल रहेगा, राइट? सो प्रोड्यूसर सरप्लस, सो सपोज अगर ये ऐसे डिमांड है, तो अगर मैं कलर करूँ, सो दिस बिकम्स द प्रोड्यूसर सरप्लस, राइट? एंड दिस विल बिकम द कंज्यूमर सरप्लस. Okay, this triangle type thing, and this box will be the producer surplus. Okay, तो before tax आपका ये हो रहा है, right? Consumer surplus is this, producer surplus is this. Government में कोई revenue नहीं है. After the tax on land, तब क्या होगा कि since the entire tax is being borne by the producers, the consumer surplus will remain unchanged. It remains the same. Producer surplus will go down by the amount of tax that has been paid, right? So government revenue will increase by the government revenue will go up by TQ. Okay, and producer surplus will go down by PQ. Okay, this goes down by PQ. Okay, so consumer surplus में कोई भी फर्क नहीं आएगा. Continuing to part F, why does a competitive firm can only produce if price is greater than average variable cost? तो इसमें सीन ये है कि the diagram will look something like, ये आपका price है, ATC is somewhere here, okay, and the marginal cost will be somewhere here, okay, and your average variable cost can be here. Let me draw it in a different color. Let me draw it with red. So ABC curve can be here, it can be here, or it can be here. Okay, so ABC curve या तो price के नीचे हो सकता है, या तो it touches the price line, or it can be above the price line. Okay, so जब ATC curve जब price के ऊपर चला जाता है, okay, it means कि losses हो रही है. Okay, losses are being borne. लेकिन ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है कि अगर losses है तो भी the producer has to shut down. Okay, तो shutdown वाला part will be decided by the ABC curve. Okay, so जब तक price line ABC curve के ऊपर है, तब तक even though अगर losses हो रहे हैं, you can still continue producing. Okay, because as long as आपके variable costs are being taken care of, it is fine. Okay, you can still continue producing. The moment वो touch करता है, this is the shutdown point. Okay, ये point पे वो indifferent हो जाता है between producing and between shutting down. Okay, and the moment वो ऊपर चला जाता है, ABC curve जब ऊपर चला जाता है, it means कि अब losses अब कुछ ज्यादा हो रही है, मेरा जो revenue है, that is not even covering my variable costs. Okay, तो अब सिर्फ फिक्स कॉस्ट हो रही है, तो मुझे शट डाउन करके बंद कर देना है ताकि मेरा और कॉस्ट ना हो. Okay, so a competitive firm can only produce if price is greater than or equal to the average variable cost. Okay, and ये भी एक repeated question है. This question had come in 2023. Okay. Now, to part G, show how the interaction between substitution effect and income effect is responsible for the different slopes of ordinary and compensated demand curve. ये भी पता है कि ordinary is the marginal demand curve, right? The normal demand curve, and this will include both substitution and income effect. The compensated demand curve will only include the substitution effect and not the income effect, right? So accordingly, you just have to derive कि आपने कैसे ये दो curves को आप derive करते हो from the decomposition of the price effect into substitution and income effect. Okay. Define MRTS. What is the role of MRTS in determining upper and lower ridge lines? This is also a very, very straightforward question. Moving on, we'll go to question number 3. तो यहाँ पे मैं आपको बताती हूँ कि कौन से क्वेश्चंस रिपीट हुए थे. Part A, a firm produces mineral water in a competitive industry and has a total cost at the given market price. This is perfect competition, so you know P is equal to MC करना है बस. The firm is producing 5 units of output in the short run. Is the firm maximizing its profit? You just have to calculate MC and see if ये equate हो रहा है कि नहीं. Okay. What quantity of output should it produce in the long run? What would be the long run equilibrium price? Okay. So very, very straightforward questions. Just formulas निकाल के बस apply करना है. Part B, in the long run, all firms in the industry earn zero economic profit. Why is it true? Because of freedom of entry and exit. Okay. So if in the short run में दो चीज हो सकती है, right? Profits हो रही है या losses हो रही है, right? अगर profit हो रहा है, then other firms can enter this industry, so profit will go down to zero economic profit. अगर losses हो रही है, then a lot of firms can leave the industry and वापस जो losses है वो कम होती जाएंगी till it reaches zero. So in the long run, you'll always have zero economic profit. Okay, that is the logic. Question number 4, part A में जाते हैं. Rima's utility from wealth is given by this. Her initial asset is this. What is the expected utility from the gamble? Will she accept the gamble? Justify your answer. ये question repeated है. This has come from ये तो 2022 and 2023 में था. Just the values would be a little different, but same question है. Okay, तो बस आपको formula से just apply करना है and you have to just analyze, right? Part B. What do you mean by risk premium? Individuals with what kind of attitude do they pay this risk premium? This is also a very, very easy question. Risk averse people देते हैं, right? तो बस आपको define करना है. And part 2, Rohan's utility from a lottery with expected income of this is 75 utils. However, he gets the same level of utility from a certain income of 1500 only. Calculate his risk premium. This is a repeated question. Again, values कुछ different होंगे, but same question है 2020 का. You can refer to that question. Okay. Question 5 में जाते हैं. All given goods are inferior, but all inferior goods are not given. Justify the statement with the help of diagrams showing the relative strength of substitution and income effect. This is a repeated question. Yeah, 2024 में, and again, it's a very, very straightforward question. Is it possible that inferior good has a positively sloped demand curve? So inferior goods which are a given good, so inferior goods अगर है, तो they can be given, they can be not given good, right? So the given goods which are already inferior goods, उनके लिए you will have a positively sloped demand curve. For the goods which are inferior good but not a given good, उनके लिए you will the law of demand will still hold, right? So बस ये चीज आपको explain करना है, okay? And part 6, from the isoquant map for a fixed coefficient production function. So this is when you have L-shaped, and this is why this is X or this is K, this is L. You'll have L-shaped isoquants with constant terms of scale. Derive the total product, marginal product, and average product of labor and comment on the shapes. Again, a very, very straightforward question. Part B is let the production function be this. Derive the amount of labor which will maximize the AP and MP. Again, it's a very easy question. यहाँ से आपको बस AP calculate करना है, MP calculate करना है, and इसको बस maximize करना है. Okay. So again, this is an easy question. Last part, 7, part A. Explain the condition under which long run supply curve of a competitive industry supply curve may have a negative slope. This is a repeated question जो 2020 से आया हुआ है. Okay. Part B is, can a perfectly competitive firm maximize profit by operating on the downward sloping portion of its margin cost curve? This is also a repeated question. ये आपका 2022 and 2024 में आया था, and it's a very easy question. Part C, an individual firm is spending 15% of its total budget on advertising. Is this situation inconsistent with the features of perfect competition? Yes, it is inconsistent because perfect competition where there is no advertising, right? Advertising is not a feature of perfect competition. So the answer is, it is inconsistent. Okay, so that's it. This was the analysis for the CU Sem 3 Microeconomics paper. अगर आपको जानना है कि जो repeated questions थे इसमें से, इनके भी अगर solutions आपको चाहिए, so let me know in the comments, okay? And let me know आपको और क्या चीज़ के लिए video चाहिए, okay? Thank you.